Coaches, today before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, CoachPad. No matter if you draw scout cards by hand or use a program on your computer, the CoachPad will give you back time by never stuffing a binder again before heading out to practice. First 13.3-inch electronic device allowing coaches to clearly display scout cards outdoors in the sun has been a game changer for programs this past fall and those currently planned all across the country. This new technology allows coaches to coach and not the monotonous task of stuffing and dealing with binders on the practice field. Check out the CoachPad and CoachPad Mini on thecoachpad.com. Please make sure you check out our sponsors, our affiliates, and here is another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. Today, we have the offensive line coach at Morningside University, Coach Jay Schlichte. I think I just pronounced that right after just a quick rundown. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. Doing well. Enjoying being back in the office and getting back to work.
Good. Coach is coming off a very successful season. But kind of before we get into any of that, how'd you end up as the offensive line coach at Morningside?
So getting the job here was a connection. A mentor of mine had worked for our head coach here, Coach Ryan. In the early 2010s, heard the job could be open. Knew I was looking to leave my previous school. Sent me a note, and that was on a Friday night. I sent my stuff in at probably about like midnight on a Friday night, and by Monday morning, I'd had my first phone interview. And I did not know anything about Morningside when I sent my stuff in. Outside, they had a good year coming off their first national title in 2018, and kind of just sent it on a whim. And my mentor put in good word, my recommendations put in good words, and then I just got it through two good interviews, a good phone interview, a good in-person interview, and that got me here. But thankfully it happened because I've loved my time here, and it's a special place. Good.
Success is an understatement. You guys have had, just won a national title and just kind of, you've been pretty dang successful. Your offense has been churning, very good passing offense. And I kind of want to hit, and we kind of talked, I want to hit on some O-line stuff. I noticed a couple things. I see your offensive line floats between a 2 and a 3-point stance. Kind of what is the kind of mythology there of when to be in a 2, when to be in a 3, and so forth?
So for us, we start everything out with 3-point stance, teaching wise. When as my older guys, as guys go up through the program, they earn the opportunity to play out a 2-point stance. And it's very situational for us. It's it's obvious passing down 3rd and 10, getting a 2 points, see what's going on, get your head up a little bit more. 2nd and long, they'll get they'll get into it then. We'll talk just more about situations you are in the football field and why to do it and when not to do it. It's kind of like, when a kid gets his license, just want to go fast. As soon as a kid, I say, hey, you can start working on your 2-point stance. He becomes every snap of practice is in a 2-point stance. And that's not the way we want to do it. We want to play in a 3-point stance because we want to run the football. But it's very situational and just educating our guys about what situations make sense, what situations don't make sense. And then the why is always big here.
Okay. Now, and my other question with that is, I noticed that you guys are extremely off the ball offensive line wise, almost, for a very spread passing heavy team. It looks almost like wing T-ish at times. Because you are back generally as physically far back as humanly possible. What is the mythology there for your run and pass game?
So we if we're not getting warned 3 to 4 times a game to move up my tackles, we're not doing it right, is the way we like to think about it around here. And for pass game, because we're a vertical set team, it makes them chase space. It gives us a bubble from the defense. and we like that space. We make them chase it. There's not interior seams for them to attack. We always think out and around. So it's very helpful that way. And then in our run game, a lot of our first steps are lateral first steps or even attacking first steps. So it just, we'll lose ground on outside zone, but our inside zone and our power stuff, that first step is lateral. We don't get beat on angles because we're giving ourselves leverage because we're, taking that full amount off the ball. We don't have to drop or bucket step is the old school term to gain leverage on guys because we gained it by being off the ball that far.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought with a lot of it, but it just kind of just double check because again, you see a lot of heavy passing teams. They'll be back a little bit, but they're not. I mean, you guys, I will say, push the limit on depth as I've kind of watched film the past week or so of certain stuff. I mean, when you're starting, and we'll start with pass pro first, because it's the easier one of the two to talk about. I mean, where do you kind of start every year with pass pro? I mean, especially with you being such a vertical set team.
So we start with there's two drills we do and we talk about them. One is we call grid sets. We go 5 guys across, and then first team, and then another 5 yards, our second group, another 5 yards, our third group, another set, fourth group. And basically we just work pattern movements. We're starting in our 3-point stances. I'm going to, say a pattern, 2 kicks, 2 powers, and they're going to mirror it 2 kicks, 2 powers. That's the very first pass pro drill we will do in fall camp, just to get them comfortable with those movements, being under control, good center of gravity, good base, where your hands are at. I'm teaching all that. And then my assistant O-line coach is walking around as well. We're being really anal about the details during that in terms of body position, balance and all those things. And then we go to a drill we call DTL. Basically we get horizontal on the field. We use the vertical line. So the 10-yard line, the 15-yard line, we're coming off the sideline. We set our outside foot on that line and we kick back 3 kicks, just matching a tempo of a ghosty defender or just a rabbit. And then the widest we get is our inside foot on that line. And then we're just learning how to match tempo. We're learning how to get out of a stance and go quick. And no matter how wide a guy is, we're not kicking out to him. We're just going to kick back on our line, as we call it. And that's how we start our guys. Are those 2 drills are really the root of everything we do in our drop back pass pro game and whatnot.
Okay, no, that makes it. Now, I mean, how much do you have to work on in terms of pass pro from because you get all kinds of shapes, sizes as you recruit kids and offenses. So how much from scratch, what are common things you have to fix pass pro wise fundamentally with kids as you bring them in?
So with us being in Northwest Iowa, there's not a lot of high school teams around here that throw the football. There's a couple big town teams around here that throw the football. Most kids are, power I or, wing T guys or option guys. So really for us, it starts with teaching footwork, getting guys doing ladders, doing line hops, just to get better feet. A lot of our guys come in with heavy feet because all they've been doing are down blocking for 4 years. We start there. And then really from there, it's explaining body position and patience. A big phrase we use is you reach your beat. I mean, a lot of our young guys, hey, I want to get hands on, I want to lock them up right away. If you reach, it's like D-line catnip. You put your hands out, they're going to do all the new Aaron Donald hand fighting technique, all that stuff. You see all those videos on Instagram, guys doing all those cool hand fighting stuff. You reach your beat. And so we want them to chase space. We win with our feet, and you reach your beat are really kind of our 2 phrases that we use. And we just try to drill that into them and block with patience.
Okay. Now, another thing I should have asked earlier, which I'll just swing back to now is, I mean, why are you a vertical set team? I mean, there's several ways you can set, obviously, but why is that y'all's preference and how you set? Is it just because of the type of kids you get? Is it the ease of the technique? Is it the style of offense? Why is that your guys' choice of?
So I inherited it. Coach Ryan, our head coach, was an O-line coach in Ottawa, Kansas, back in the day. And they've been vertical set since he took over here, in 2001, 2002. And so I was coming from more of a pro style dish set team at my previous school. So that's what I knew really well. I knew a little bit of vertical set. And then when I got here, Coach Ryan and I sat down and met for a couple days. Basically, he went through how he used to teach it. And at the end, he's like, you can't teach it like me. You need to update it because I'm teaching you like it's 2000. And so we do it that way, really, because we don't want to give up sacks. We don't want to give up interior seams. And we just want to play simple and play fast. And so if I have teaching my guys, everything's out and around. So in vertical set, you're literally trying to force everything out and around. Our quarterbacks know to climb in the pocket. It's just kind of all fits together for what we want to do. When you're teaching dish setting, is it an A set? Is it a B set? Is it a C set? It changes by each drop you're using. Whereas vertical set, is it a two kick or is it a jump set? If our quick game is more jump set kind of stuff, our drop back game is we're going to kick out of there. It's just all about being more simple so we can play fast. Because, like I said, you were watching some of our games. When we get going, you can kind of see it in the TV copy. We get going pretty fast and we want to play fast. And that's where we're most comfortable. So I think it really evolved out of wanting to play fast and be more simple.
Okay. Good, coach. Now, kind of continue with when you talked about jump setting, kick setting, how do you work those various things and kind of what order of importance do you kind of place on those?
So I work our drop back, our base protection stuff every day. We do that DTL, that down the line drill every single day, whether we're in pads, full pads, shells, just helmets, or walkthrough. We're going to do it every single day. Our jump set stuff, we work when we install it in fall camp. And then it's a once a week deal for us during the season, typically a Tuesday or Wednesday pre-practice period, just a 5-minute, hey, jump set, work off the reaction, treat everything like you're bobbed up, and just, quick jump set and then work reaction off of it. It's a 1 day a week thing. Because we're such a heavy RPO team, we don't have to do jump setting a lot. We're run blocking most of the time on a lot of our quick stuff. But we do have to work it probably once a week. But our drop back stuff, I work every day, no matter what we're doing. That's an everyday drill for us.
Okay. And you kind of continue with that as well from a past pro perspective. And I didn't look closely enough when I was watching your film, so I'll just ask it. How much stance wise, especially with the 2 point, the 3 point's pretty general stance wise. Typically, O linemen get a little more flexible when they're in a 2. How much do you give them freedom stance wise for comfortability compared to rigidness and uniformity?
So I teach a general way to get into a stance, and then I tell them you have to adjust off of it to what's comfortable. And so general rule of thumb for my tackles, it is toed, back foot, toe to heel of the front foot. The width of your stance is based off your body. If you're a wide hip guy, it's going to be wide. If you're a narrow hip guy, you might deepen that foot up a little bit. And then from there, it's a squat straight down. And then you put your hand that's going down is where your outside eye would fall if it fell out of your eye socket. I took that from Drew Nystrom. He's more in your neck of the woods. He's the interim head coach, John Carroll. He's been my big O-line mentor. He was at University of Dubuque before there, and I was.
Drew's a very good guy. He's done a couple stuff for me, and I've gotten him on our state clinic as well. So Drew's a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he's where I took almost all my O-line stuff except for vertical set from. He's my foundation, and so that I took from him. And then basically our 2 point stance is like we just don't put your hand down for the 3 point stance. That's how I teach it. And then when we work it, we walk around just trying to find, hey, is that comfortable? If guy says no, I'm like, well, then keep tweaking. And if I don't like your tweak, we'll talk about it and we'll find a happy medium. It's very individualized once I teach the progression of how to get into a stance.
Okay. Now, I mean, kind of what is a typical practice look like for you as an offensive line coach?
So we typically give about 10 minutes of pre-practice work in. Quarterback's getting loose. My guys are out there at least 15 minutes before every practice, unless you got class. They do hurdles and legs, leg swings, get the hips loosened up every day. And then they also do ladders. We got ladders in our O-line bag with your feet, get our feet warmed up every day. Pre-practice, we'll do the DTL drill on air, just kind of get loose. And then we'll do one of our run game, step punch drive drills on air, just get our run game feet going. And then usually the first 5 minutes, we do a drill, we call it fit progression, fit and drive, fit and redirect, fit and replace. Next 5 minutes, then we'll go to a quick pass game, indie period. And then we'll come together for our install period. And then after that, we'll come back and we'll go to what I call a fix it period. So anything from the day before we need to fix, or if it's a Tuesday and we're installing against a team that likes to run a lot of interior games, we'll just slow down and work through those games. How we need to pick them up and run or pass game. And then the last 10 minutes before we go to our, we call it concentration, but it's like full speed on air walkthrough. We'll do twist pickup. So we'll do pods of 2, pass game, twist pickup. And we do that 5 to 10 minutes every single day. No matter what, we're going to do twist pickup, DTL every single day. And it's just whatever pattern I can think of, in, out, spin, whatever moves I give them, we're doing it. We're just working our 2-man, twist pickup. And then that takes us right into all of our team stuff.
All right. Now, I mean, you mentioned the ladder there. Because I've heard some people say ladder. I've heard some people say bags. Why is the ladder the kind of the thing to fire up the feet?
I like the ladder because it's hard to get bored because there's a bunch of different combinations you can do. And it's hard to jump rope with pads on. I think jumping rope is very underrated for big guys. For a couple of reasons. Number one, it is really, really good, especially if you can do it in spurts. You don't just do it for 10, 20 minutes at a time. It's a good hard 5 minutes, take a break, come back. And 2, it sucks. And if a kid will buy in and do it in the off season and before or after lifting, whatever, it sucks. It's not fun for big guys. There's a level of that where we're building toughness and work ethic. I think that's important as well. Being an offensive lineman is not a position. It's a lifestyle. It's who you are. It's that important. And that's the way I look at it. So that's just another piece to it, but I'm not going to ask guys to jump rope with, pants on or knee braces on or that. So we can get ladders out and we can do quick feet on ladders, 1 in a hole, 2 in a hole, icky shuffle, lateral, 1 in, 2 out, stuff like that. And I think I like it a lot.
Okay. Now, we kind of hit on some of the pass pro stuff and it's kind of hitting into the run game stuff. I mean, what's your kind of, what variations of pulling do you guys do? And then kind of what is your progression to that?
So we have 3 pulls. We have just a flat open pull that we use on our pin and pull stuff. Get out wide. For wing T guys, you might consider it more of a trap pull. Rip with the inside leg, rip the backside hand through, kicking out. Then we do a skip pull. That's our base pull, and our power stuff is a skip pull. And then we have started to do a little bit of North Dakota State's square pull that they run A-gap power with, just as a variation on some of our A-gap power, even our 6-man power stuff to help keep our shoulders square a little bit with some of our young guys. Cause I got some young guys that like to drift right now, and keeping shoulders and hips square is one of our 7 fundamental rules of football, as Coach Ryan would say. And we've gone to that a little bit. So our progression for it is we're going to start, it's an 8-cone drill. You set up, you're mirrored, you're pulling left, you're working a kick out on a bag. You got two guys going simultaneously. We'll start with the skip pull, just to see in fall camp for the young guys who can do it, and older guys who's a little rusty. We don't do much of it in the summer. We're working a bunch of our other fundamentals in the summer. I can get pulling fixed in fall camp. That's not an issue. Once we go through that, probably 2 times each way, we'll go to open pull and kick. We just work the kick, pull right, hit right, digging it out, pull left, hit left. And really, as we talk about that, it's, and if you're in a left-handed stance, pulling to the right. We talk about that inside arm, open the refrigerator, rip through with the backside hand, punch low. And then as you're coming down the line, you're hugging it. If you're pulling right, you're fitting your right shoulder on whatever defender you're kicking or pulling wide on.
Okay. Now I've asked this to a couple of linemen I've talked to recently, line coaches, not linemen. I mean, what does a typical week look like for you from when your Saturday game ends to the following Saturday next game starts?
So what my week typically looks like, I also have film duty here. So post game, making sure last year we had a couple part-time guys that had just got done playing. So they would put the huddle info in for me. And then I would cut it on Saturday night, just get it up so I don't have to wake up at the crack dawn on Sunday and get that done. Sunday morning, I'm finishing breakdown. I do almost all of our breakdown for our offense, everything besides coverage and formations. But I got front stunt blitz stuff. And so I got to finish that up. And I start building our scouting reports on Sunday. We'll come together. We'll meet as a staff. We watch the game. We don't grade here. We don't give a percentage plus minus. We just go through and, if there's things we got correct, we mark the clip. I write down what the correction is. Try to keep it less than 20 clips for a game. Unless it's really bad, then we'll go higher. That's about 2:00 on a Sunday. We'll go have dinner. We'll have our team meeting at 7:00 on Sunday. Get into our indie meeting by 8. Watch it with the kids. They're out within about a half hour, maybe a little longer if I got some funny stuff to show, or, Sunday Night Football's on. It's a good game. We'll watch it as a position group for a little bit. Mondays, our kids have a lift and we'll run in the afternoons. We'll do our scouting report meeting. We're doing, as coaches, we are doing all day watching formations. I have most of the run game planned out because I'm working a week ahead at all times. So I'm just going through my notes on Monday. What do I really like? Wow, that was a really bad idea. It must have been Thursday night when I was doing this, and I'm sleep deprived and I need a cheeseburger. And then we'll meet all Monday morning for that, kind of put a rough plan together, do the same thing on Tuesday morning, refine it further, have practice Tuesday. Wednesday morning is more of a, red zone, goal line, plus 50 going in day for us. Point of emphasis, I'm making sure our heavy packages are where I want them to be in terms of personnel and what we have in for the week. Thursday is kind of clean it up, make sure our plan is good. It's a lighter practice for us, no special teams. Friday is could sleep in a little bit, go get a cup of coffee, fancy cup of coffee on Friday morning, put together our wristband, make sure we're squared away there. Game plan's done. Got a quick walkthrough, half an hour, travel if we need to. And then we're, haze in the barn and we're gaming on Saturday. So, most of my stuff run game wise, I'm a week ahead. So by the time I get to Monday, I'm more crossing things off a list than this is the first time I'm seeing it.
Okay. Now, also, on your Saturday, what does a typical pregame look like for you and your offensive line?
So our kind of pregame routine, we're the last group out. So the receivers come out, they do their own thing. Skill kids come out, they do their own thing. Specialists have been out, forever, trying not to get yelled at by the officials for kicking into everybody. O-line, D-line come out. We go through a dynamic warm-up with everybody. And then all I do is we partner up on the end line, and we're going inside zone right, inside zone left, outside zone right, outside zone left. Down block 2 down blocks. We flip it around. We do that DTL drill just with partners twice. Once normal, just ghost it. Second time worth a counter move, some kind of get them moving a little bit, and that's it. Here we go. Then we go into our team segment, because when we're doing that, the skill guys doing 7-on-7 because they've already done their indie before our dynamic. Then we go to team. Our first group runs 6 plays, our second group runs 4 plays, and we're out. Basically, I'm telling those guys, I'm doing these things, make sure our steps, we feel good. You got to make sure you're getting loose before we run you out in the field and through the dynamic. If you need a little extra stretch while the other group's going, find a trainer or do what you got to do. You know your body best. You know what you have to do to get ready. I don't need to tell you that.
Okay, that's perfect, Coach. I mean, that's the first time I think I've heard the 7-on-7 while O-line does indie, like at least from a description standpoint. Kind of one of the other questions I've been asking O-line coaches is what is your favorite O-line drill?
My favorite O-line drill is the twist pickup drill I was telling you about. I think you can learn a lot about a kid by watching him do that drill. You're going to figure out, is he using his eyes? Does he know how to use his eyes? Does he have good feet? Does he have bad feet? Will he play nasty and all that? And the reason that is you got no idea what's coming at you, and you just have to set and trust your rules, and then you got to trust your eyes. And if you set right, you do it right, you got it. If not, you'll get got. It's the simplicity of that 2-man drill that is my favorite drill during practice. And I can tell whether we're gonna have a good day or bad day by our level of intensity and our effort on that drill. Doesn't mean it's a live drill, but if we're lazy with our feet and our hands and all that stuff during twist, I'll literally stop the drill, look at them, say, boys, we're not having a good day right now. We need to wake up. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long day. And I think we're 100% efficiency on if it picks up, we don't have a bad day. If it doesn't, it's not been a good day of practice.
Okay, no, that's perfect, Coach. Now, what is your kind of progression to teaching that drill, especially for new guys coming in?
So when we get to the young guys, I try to keep to 2 or 3 different patterns. I just want the basic stuff. I want, and I will often not even have guys twist. So it turns into 2 guys doing a DTL drill side by side. And then I'll add in a twist. And then the next time I'll have them twist the opposite way. And that's the start. And once they're comfortable with those kind of 3, then that's when I start mixing in the crazier stuff. That's where I start it. Sometimes I'll just drop them in and say, hey, the young guys go, second or third behind my older guys. A big part for me is if you're not in, you're watching. Like, I don't mind if you guys talking about, hey, I'm going to go see Top Gun tonight or whatever behind you. We're O-linemen. The goofier we are, the better we are. Right? It's just the way, it's the rule of the O-line. But you got to be locked in. So you got to learn from the guys in front of you. Most males, according to our head coach, he does a lot of reading. He's a really smart guy. Males are visual learners. Yeah. They do better when they can see things happen, even if they're not doing it, than me telling them what to do. So we do so much walkthrough, slow down. If we miss a twist pickup, I'll reload it. We'll walk through at 50%, and I'll stand on the other side and I'll watch their eyes and hands and figure out, okay, where did we miss? And we'll go back and say, okay, this is where your eyes need to be. This is where your hands need to be at 50%. We'll reload it. We'll go full speed. Hopefully we get it. If not, we'll rinse and repeat. We'll slow it down and then go fast again. So if we're having a bad day, we're not going very fast through the drill, but we're going to get things right. We're going to fix it and get everyone on the right page.
Okay. 2 more questions for you, Coach. First of all, how in depth or detailed for your guys do you break down pass rush in terms of techniques? Like I know some guys get super into it and go over like every little move, and other guys it's kind of, is it high hat, low hat, and this is the type of rush you'll get. Kind of how in depth do you get with and break down pass rushes with your alignment?
So the way I do it is, and I give my guys a piece of ownership in it. So I'm talking to a lot of my guys, top games. Okay, how do they tip off their games? Are they in double 3s and double 5s? Is it when they are tilted? Is one guy back, one guy forward? I'm talking big picture things with them. I asked my first group and my second group, hey, instead of giving you a quiz during the week, as some people do, whether it's on Huddle or all the apps they've created these days, I have them, if my left tackle's matched up on number 30 for them, hey, on Wednesday, stick your head in during the day and tell me what 30's moves are. You get film on Monday night. You got Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tell me what they are. And I'll have a couple notes down. And if our notes are way off, I know he's BSing me. If there's some crossover, I'll feel good about it. And so I give them ownership to go, hey, learn about your matchup and figure it out. And my guys love that because every other position group on our team has quizzes that they have to do on Tuesday, Wednesday nights. My guys just got to watch their matchup, watch what they're looking for, and they just got to come talk to me about it.
Okay. And then my last question for you, Coach, is, do you have any advice for high school line coaches who are trying to develop at least proficient pass blockers?
Feet, develop feet. In 2019, my right guard was 5'8", 240 pounds. He was the meanest SOB you've ever met on a football field. The nicest guy. He's a ninth grade English teacher teaching Shakespeare now. He is one of the greatest, nicest people you've ever met. But he had the best feet. And so as you're working pass pro, if you can get their feet and get them to be to the right spot, you will, at worst case, have a lot of ties. And in pass pro, a tie is a win. So work on developing feet and then get eyes right. As long as they get their eyes to the right spot and their feet are moving, they're okay. Your punch may be off. You might not be very strong. You could have a kid who's 6 foot 180. Shoot, if LeBron can take a charge in the NBA on a little guy can take a charge in a football game against a big guy. But if your feet and eyes are in the right spot, you're okay. And just spend a crap ton of your time making sure eyes are right, and kids will move their feet. If they'll move their feet, a lot of good things will happen on the O-line. I can guarantee that.
Okay, I've heard coaches. His Twitter handle will be in the bio. Make sure you give Coach a follow. So that's the least we could do. Like, share, subscribe, all that lovely jazz. Check out our sponsor, CoachPad. That stuff's in the bio. Otherwise, that's another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.